Alright folks, this is the completion of my practice battle. I'm going to call it here. I haven't completed turn 2, unfortunately. We'll take a look down here. These counters here, these AM markers, these are all the markers that have yet to be pulled from the cup. And there was one rebel AM marker still remaining and 5 Union. And this was all of the Union AM markers. The Union has not pulled any markers at all in turn 2. They're still sitting in the cup. And in fact, the rebels have taken, I think, 3, 4, 5 activations in a row. 3 for Yule and 2 for Hill before the Union can really do anything. And it kind of reflects, if you look at the battle, you see a lot of those blue counters have been pushed back. And the battle line has pretty much been broken. Let's go over this real quick here if I can. Take a look at the... Whoops. Take a look at the Union over, or the rebels over here. Of course, we got Trimble's brigade. He's combat ineffective. He's only got 3 regiments left. 1 unit is an extended order. They're basically holding this flank. Kind of defensive at this point. For the Union, Prince is over here. He held the Union left. He's got about 3 regiments left, and they've all been pushed back, and some of them are out of command right here, in fact. So he's not in any good shape. He's totally out of formation here. And Forno's brigade is up here. It's leaderless at this point. It is still under attack orders, but right now they're regrouping after that initial push into Prince's brigade. They're basically leaderless. They can't really do much, or at least I don't want to do anything with them at this point, since we haven't replaced their leader. And of course, we have Early, which is right there. He was leading the assault. He's an aggressive brigadier. He's marked with an A. He did lead his troops forward. Loose cannon result, if I remember correctly, against Augur's division. In this case, Geary's brigade. And he also hit Green's brigade, which is from William's division, over here. So he's pretty much all over the place, really engaging what was left of this left flank for the Union. And this is what it looks like. They're pretty much, again, scattered. It's all pretty chaotic at the moment, for the Union especially. At this point, I think Early is still in a great position to continue forward with his thrust up here and do some good shock combat against Geary and finish him off. There's really no reserve for the Union to fill any gaps or to do an orderly withdrawal. They're basically in a lot of trouble at this point. So yeah, that's the left flank of the Union. Not good. And if we come over here to A.P. Hill's division, we'll see some more action and more success for the rebels. Of course, on this side, we had Thomas with his small brigade coming up here and basically holding the ground between Archer's and, where is he? Pender's brigades on the far rebel left. Pender actually did most of the work. He attacked the right flank, the far right flank of the Union under Crawford. Took Crawford out of command to rally some of his units with that assault. But for the most part, he really did some damage to Crawford's brigade down here. So Pender, hats off to him. He's currently located here. The rest of his brigade is back here regrouping. He is somewhat in a good position to keep attacking, but most of the Union units, in fact, are disordered. So that's a plus for him. But I think he's probably going to hold his ground a little bit and bring up some of his regiments here from the back to kind of support him if he wants to maintain a foothold on this rise of ground here. So the Union right flank is really being pressured over here. Next to Crawford, the Union brigadier, was this brigade under Gordon, again in Williams' division. These guys right here have the blue cohesion number on their counter. These guys are blue, these guys are yellow. The yellow is Crawford's, the blues are Williams. Now, Williams' division. Gordon, I mean. And they're located in this area. They're probably in the best shape, I would say. There's only a couple of their units left, however, so they're both disordered. So, not really, I think. It's just their opposition is Thomas mainly here, who just started moving forward again after reorganizing his brigade back here in the cornfields. He's moving forward as well. He's also under attack orders. Man, looking at it now, I could say the Union is really in a rough position. Even though they're kind of in this line here, they do have a nice line going here of their units. They're all disordered, and that's not good. And Thomas's brigade, which is right here, is still in a great position to continue the assault shock combat forward into this area. In fact, we have a collapsed regiment for the Union over here. I believe that's Gordon's brigade as well. It's not looking good. The right flank is under a lot of pressure. And late in this turn, Archer's brigade, which is also part of Hill's division, did move forward. And unfortunately, I tried twice unsuccessfully to change his orders. I should have done it during the divisional orders segment of the turn where it's free. But during the brigade activations, I wanted to change those orders to attack, and I couldn't do it. I failed both rolls. And so they're still under advance. That's this brigade back here under Archer. So those 4 regiments there are holding back. I believe this collapsed unit is it's part of, over here, it's part of Ewell's division. Early's brigade. Again, that loose cannon. I think he was over here and he rushed off to the closest enemy, which was over here. Green's brigade he attacked. And he was collapsed because of it. So, yeah. And of course, Green, this Union Brigade Green, very small. Both units are disordered. They were involved in a close combat, or a shock combat, I should say, for this lower valley-like area here, lower ground. So, yeah, that was the situation. As far as losses are concerned, of course, Forno was killed, and this unit of rebels was also taken out. So that's one unit right there. You can see a close-up. Close-up of the casualties, and that, of course, is their disordered side. Yeah, so that was the 45th Georgia. It was their only unit loss, although they do have a collapsed unit and a lot of disordered units. The Union, on the other hand, they did lose 3 regiments by comparison. These guys were routed, so they were eligible to be brought back. They are right there. And let's see, we got a yellow here. These are all from Augur's division. The yellow one is from, who is that, Geary? And these 2 are from Prinz, I believe. Prince. I don't know why I say Prinz. Prince's brigade, I believe. Yeah. So they were in the routed box. And of course, Forno, the commander of this brigade here, was taken out. Let me focus in there. So, yeah, that was the game, or the battle, the demo. I think now I'm going to take a little short break. I'm going to play some ASL, but I think I'm going to set up Cedar Mountain, which, in case you don't know, is where these counters are drawn from, where these units are drawn from. So you'll be familiar with these names when I actually start the actual battle. It was intentional on my part. Hope it helped. And of course the map is for Cedar Mountain as well. So the next battle, I'll give a separate video for this, of course, introducing Cedar Mountain somewhat. And I'll show the deployments and everything. I will try to get into a little more detail with the rules when I do Cedar Mountain. We'll see, because it is difficult when I'm doing this. I'm trying to make it as convenient as possible, because it is time-consuming videoing these things. But if you guys enjoy it, I'll keep doing it and post some links about the battle in case you're interested in the history of it, and show you guys some of that as well. As far as the battle, this game is concerned, I love it. It's a great system. I like the detail, the level of command that we're looking at. I mean, you're literally looking from the regiment up. And in the case of Cedar Mountain, you'll probably see some, well, what they're terming battalions, where you got large regiments that can be broken down into separate counters, kind of deemed battalions. That's an option in the game. There's a few option rules, in fact, and I'll go over that when I actually do Cedar Mountain. But anyway, this is a very enjoyable system. I like the level of command and the representation of the units the regiments and stuff. You'll notice I haven't used any artillery or cavalry. We're going to get into that when we get into Cedar Mountain. And make good use of them, I hope. It would have made a big difference, I think, for the Union if they had their guns. So, yeah. But I do enjoy this system. I would love to do a lot more battles in this series. Like I said before, I do have the newest release from P500, which is Volume 7, I believe. This is Volume 6. Yeah, this is Volume 6, Twin Peaks. I think Volume 7 is the Shenandoah battles. And it's got a ton of battles, and I think there's like 11 battles. That's going to be really fun. I got that coming in a couple weeks or less time. I can look into that. But I'm probably going to be playing Cedar Mountain and get it done before then. So we're going to jump into Cedar Mountain, I think. Highly recommend game system, folks. The learning curve isn't too bad. It's a 7 on a 1 to 9, which is high, but it's really not that bad. The actual mechanics of each rule are simple. And there just happens to be quite a few mechanics, quite a few rules to look up. But a lot of it's common sense, a lot of it's very intuitive. You know what they're representing with a rule, so it kind of makes sense. And yeah, I think probably the most complex part is probably shock combat. I know initially when I started this, it seemed like the activation determined how many AM markers you get in your cup or in your pool. I thought maybe that would have been the most involving, but not really. That goes by pretty quick, actually. That said, I only did it once or twice since I only played 2 turns. You only do that once per turn, so it's not a big deal, and it actually does go by pretty quick. In a battle like this with no OCs or overall commanders, just one corps, yeah, it's going to go by quick. I imagine with big battles, multi-core battles, this game can really, it could probably be very time-consuming. That might be a downside of it. I don't know. I mean, we are representing regiments here, so it'd be kind of expected. If that's your thing, great. I know it's my thing. I like that kind of stuff. I'm never in a rush when I play these games, and I take my time with it. Playing solo allows me to do that, so I could play a turn a day if I wanted, or play just a couple activations in a day. So this is definitely one of my favorite games, right alongside SPQR, ASL, and the other games that I've played so far. Definitely a really high-end game. Really enjoy this, and I personally recommend it so far. And granted, I haven't played an actual scenario yet, and we're going to get into that. So we'll see how I feel after Cedar Mountain. So let me know what you think, folks, and if you enjoy this or not. Of course, here's Jackson. I don't think he moved once in the battle. Didn't really have to. He's got a nice command range of 8. That's his replacement, I guess. If he gets taken out of action. Of course, here's Banks. You'll see him in Cedar Mountain as well. Command range of 5. There's his replacement side. You flip these when they're replaced. Has some different numbers for it. So yeah, folks, I'm going to call it at this point, just so I can move on and get Cedar Mountain on the table, actually. So again, folks, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your comments, thoughts on this game. If you want to see more ACW battles, let me know. I'll be glad to accommodate as best I can. And stay tuned for Cedar Mountain. It's going to be a blast. I'm liking it, folks. Gives you an idea what's going on here. Fire combat is pretty straightforward. I got some examples of movement. Extended line. And so on and so forth. Pretty easy read. There's some page flipping, I'll admit. It seems like some rules could have been better organized. I did a lot more page flipping than I thought I would be doing, but that wasn't a bad thing. It's not a lot of rules to deal with, I don't think. Unless you're absolutely new to board gaming. All right, folks, we're going on too long here. I'm going on and on about this stuff. So let's close this up. I'll see you guys soon with Cedar Mountain. and we'll get started with a brand new full battle and see how that goes. And the scenario, by the way, and here's the Cedar Mountain battle book. The scenario I'm going to be playing, real quick here to show you, is this one. The 1700 start. So 1700 hours. Normally it starts at 14. So just a heads up, this is basically pretty much a night battle. So we're going to see a lot of night turns going on. And I'll be using as many optional rules as I can fit within my brain, like skirmishers and large infantry regiments. I'm going to use those rules. I don't know if I'm going to mess around with the optional rules in this scenario book for Union and Confederate artillery. There's the Confederate artillery. And of course all the other rules like night and fatigue and heat, those rules will be used. And random events, I'm going to use that as well, because why not? That's just going to be fun. I mean, it's only that much rules. The rest is just an explanation of the results you get from the table. So yeah, that'd be easy. Friendly fire, ambush, fouled guns, panic, all that good stuff. And yeah, so there we go. Cedar Mountain coming up soon, folks. All right, folks, you guys hang in there. I will be back soon with more gaming goodness. Hang in there, folks. It's only going to get better. Take care.